Why your legs keep getting worse. If your legs feel heavier in the evening, or if veins have started becoming more visible over time, it is very easy to assume this is just a normal part of aging. But in most cases, it is not one single problem. It is a combination of small daily habits, repeated so often that they start to feel normal. While sitting in your chair, while eating, while getting ready for bed. And the important part is this: most people are never really told about these habits, so they continue for years without realizing the effect. This is not about blame, it is about awareness. Because once you understand what is happening, even small adjustments can make a noticeable difference in how your legs feel by the end of the day. Today I want to walk you through 5 of these habits, and for each one, I will also show you a simple adjustment you can start using immediately. Nothing complicated, nothing extreme, just small changes that fit into normal life. Let's begin with the first and most important one. Habit number 1, sitting still for too long. This is one of those habits that looks completely harmless. In fact, it feels like rest. But for circulation in the legs, long periods of stillness create a very different effect. As we get older, blood flow in the legs naturally slows down. Blood goes down easily, but the return upward becomes more difficult. When you stay in one position for too long, that return flow becomes even weaker. And over time, this is when heaviness tends to build, especially in the evening. Now here is the important part. You do not need exercise routines. You do not need special equipment. What matters most is frequency of small movement. You simply connect movement to things you already do every day. When you are watching television and there is a break or pause, that is your signal. Move your feet gently. Lift your toes up and down, slow and controlled. Even 15 to 20 repetitions is enough. If you feel comfortable, you can stand up briefly and walk around the room during that same break. When you are on the phone, do not stay in one position. Stand up and walk slowly while talking. When you are waiting for something like a kettle boiling or coffee preparing, use that time to rise onto your toes a few times while holding a stable surface. And when you are sitting in traffic or waiting at a light, gently rotate your ankles from time to time. The key idea here is not intensity, it is interruption. Breaking long periods of stillness again and again throughout the day. And something interesting happens after about 2 weeks. Your body starts doing it automatically, without reminders, without effort. And many people notice that evening heaviness in the legs starts to feel less noticeable. And if you are finding these explanations helpful so far, you might want to consider subscribing. This channel is built for simple, practical guidance that helps you understand your body better and make small improvements in daily life. And I would also be interested to hear from you. Feel free to share in the comments which of these habits you have noticed in your own routine. Now let's continue. Habit number 2, crossing your legs while sitting. This is a habit most people learn very early in life. Sitting with one leg crossed over the other can feel natural and even comfortable. But behind the knee, there is an important pathway for blood flow returning from the lower legs. When you cross your legs, pressure is placed in that exact area. And when that pressure is repeated day after day for years, circulation becomes less efficient. The challenge is that this habit is automatic. You often do not even notice it. So instead of relying on willpower, it helps to make the position less convenient. One simple option is placing a small footrest in front of your chair. When both feet are slightly elevated and supported, your body naturally stays in a more neutral position. And over time, you simply stop needing to cross your legs. Not because you are forcing yourself, but because the position no longer feels necessary. Now let's move to something that feels relaxing, but can quietly affect how your legs feel afterward. Habit number 3, long hot baths or saunas. Warm water can feel very soothing, especially after a long day. But heat naturally causes blood vessels to expand. In a healthy system, this is not a problem. But when veins are already under pressure, this expansion can make circulation more difficult afterward. That is why some people notice a heavier feeling in the legs after long hot baths or sauna sessions. This does not mean you need to stop these habits completely. It is more about duration and balance. Shorter exposure is usually easier on the body than long sessions. And there is one simple adjustment that many people find helpful. At the end of a bath or shower, finish with about 20 to 30 seconds of cool water on the lower legs. Not freezing, just comfortably cool. This helps the vessels return closer to their normal state. And many people notice that the post-bath heaviness becomes lighter. Now let's move to something many people do every day without thinking about it. Habit number 4, tight clothing around the legs or waist. This includes tight socks, elastic bands, waist pressure, or shaping garments. The issue is not the clothing itself. It is continuous pressure in specific areas. Because blood flow in the legs depends on open pathways, not constant compression points. If there is continuous pressure, especially around the calves or waist, circulation has to work harder against it. A simple way to check this is at the end of the day. Remove your socks and look at your skin. If there is a strong indentation that remains visible for a while, that may be a sign the elastic is too tight for everyday use. The solution is not extreme. It is simply choosing softer and less restrictive options for daily wear. Compression stockings can still be useful, but they work best when used correctly. In the morning, before you get out of bed, when the legs are still rested. Worn during the day, and removed in the evening before lying down. And they should be replaced regularly, because over time they lose their elasticity. Now let's move to the last habit, and this one surprises many people. Habit number 5, eating salty food late in the day. Salt itself is not the issue. The timing is what often matters more than people realize. As the body gets older, it becomes less efficient at processing excess salt during the night. So when salty foods are eaten late in the day, the body may retain more fluid during sleep. That fluid naturally moves downward due to gravity. And this can contribute to morning puffiness and a heavier feeling in the legs. A simple adjustment is timing. Keeping most salty foods earlier in the day, when the body is more active. In the evening, meals can be lighter in salt, using herbs, lemon, garlic, or spices for flavor instead. This is not about restriction, it is about timing. And over a few days, many people notice that morning puffiness becomes less noticeable, and evenings feel lighter. Now stepping back for a moment, the most important idea is this. It is not one habit that creates the problem. It is repetition over time. And it is also not one solution that changes everything. Even adjusting just one of these habits can start to shift how your legs feel. So I would like to ask you something before you go. Which of these habits felt most familiar in your own daily life? And which one do you think would be easiest for you to start changing first? Because that small decision is often where real change begins. And if you would like, you can share your thoughts in the comments. I read them and try to understand what topics matter most to you. If you are new here, consider subscribing so you do not miss future videos with simple, practical guidance like this.